Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. We are here talking Thursday night football, and it's time to place your bets. And as you can see now, the sun has greatly shifted in my room. Somehow, all of a sudden, it's bouncing off of a poster. It's shining through the blackout curtains. Crazy things are happening here, getting thrown off everywhere, but that's okay because we're still here. Maybe the light's shining on us, Derek Brown. Maybe this is a sign from above that today we're going to hit a whole lot of really good props, make some money. What do you think, D-Bro? Is this a sign from the gods?
Yes, it's the angelic light shining down from above,
Ah.
Joe, on our prop bets today, man. It's a good sign. I mean, how can you take it as anything but that?
I mean, this is hilarious. Like, I can't even, no matter where I'm going to do the show from here. This is where I'm going to have to do the show from in order to make this work. This is it right here, ladies and gentlemen. So check it out. All right, let's get after it. Thursday Night Football tonight. The New England Patriots are going to host the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 8-3. The Pats are 6-5. The Pats are 3.5-point home underdogs. And it's surprising that maybe it shouldn't even be higher considering the last two times the Buffalo Bills just absolutely took the Patriots to the woodshed and whooped on them pretty good. In fact, in one game, they didn't punt the entire game. Just no punts. Just kept scoring on them every single chance they got. There you have it. So I was a little surprised. To me, this is more of a 5. And if it was, I'd be more interested in wagering upon it. But because of where it is right now, just starting with the numbers here, starting with the 3.5, starting with a 43.5. Derek Brown, do you see any value in either of these numbers before we get to the prop market tonight?
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought this would be. I feel like New England's getting a little bit too much respect here. And this is not to say that, like, okay, their defense hasn't played good, they're not playing at home and things like that. But I feel like we are giving New England a little bit too much respect with this line. I think it should be, like you're talking about, closer to 5, closer to 5.5. I think that the over in this game, as far as the total goes, is a really easy bet. You look at the
Mhm.
last 2 to 3 times, heck, even if you go back longer, these two teams have met. I'm really surprised this total is as low as it is. Either, I mean, you look at team implied totals, tight spread. We're not giving the Bills offense enough credit here, or we're not giving the Patriots offense enough credit. Like, it just, this
Well,
this
the
total
Bills have
feels like it
kind
should
of,
be
let's be
higher.
honest, the Bills shouldn't have beaten the Lions. Let's just start there. The Bills have kind of been limping around here for the last few weeks. And if ever the Bills needed a big game here, this is it. You're going against an in-division opponent. It's a huge opportunity here. It's one that you've beat up on the last few years. But if ever a Bills team was vulnerable lately, it feels like this is it. I mean, the one time the Bills lost to the Patriots was that crazy win game where they basically just eked out a victory. They kind of got lucky there, managed the game. But I mean, every bit of me wants to kind of be on the Pat side of this one. I just wish I was
Hmm.
getting a better number. The consensus number is
Yeah,
plus
agreed.
168. And that is just it's a tough sell for me, to be honest. Like, I just,
But that
if
kind of
this was
falls
two
in
to
line with
one,
the total and the line and stuff that we're maybe giving the Patriots a
look,
little bit too much respect.
if it was 2 to 1, 3 to 1, I don't know. Like then I'm
Yeah,
into it, and
I
I bet the
agree.
Patriots on the money line take them outright. Plus 166 is just not
Not
enough for
enough.
me really to get super excited about it, to be honest. So once again, just like the other night, it's not a line that we feel good about. It's not a line that we like, and we're gonna make money in the prop market instead, which is what we did the other night. And boy, oh boy, I was mad because George Pickens didn't catch a touchdown. He caught a 2-point conversion, and that pissed me right off. And he went to stupid Deontay Johnson, who couldn't hold on to the ball. Now he learned his lesson, Kenny Pickett. Don't throw the ball in the red zone to Deontay Johnson. But
No.
I'm not bitter at all. So let's move on and let's look a little further here. Maybe let's talk also about some of the injuries going on here with both teams. Von Miller is going on the IR. We all know that. So he is not going to be there for this game. Deion Dawkins also is not available. Isaiah McKenzie will be, though. He's coming off a big game against the Detroit Lions at Thanksgiving. And then on the flip side here, in the New England Patriots side, Jakobi Meyers is expected to play tonight. He's been dealing with a shoulder issue. Trent Brown was added to the injury report, too. He's dealing with an illness. We know Damian Harris is out for this, too. So for me, what's shaping up here, the Damian Harris injury means the all-purpose yards for Rhamondre Stevenson is a place that I'd like to start tonight. How about you, D-Bro?
Yeah, I'm totally with that, man. And I think we also need to bring up something about the Patriots. Basically, if you're not listed as DMP, if you get limited practices all week with the Patriots, you're gonna play. And that it happens like every single year. the entire Patriots depth chart every game gets
Sure.
listed as questionable on injury reports. And unless you're DMP, all these guys usually play. And I think Jakobi Meyers, him coming back to the game last week, I think he's going to play and play his full-time role.
Yeah, I'm looking at Rhamondre to get a lot of work here. 40 and a
Agreed.
half receiving yards here for him. The projected total, by the way, 29.6. So that's interesting that it's projected so much under the prop. That is over FanDuel minus
Should be lower.
110. I think that is almost shocking. Also, Rhamondre Stevenson rushing yards, 62 and a half. The projection's at 71. So this one also on the flip side coming in under. You can bet that at BetMGM at minus 115 if you like that. But let's get to the ones you like the best here. I've got 1, 2 on the defensive side that I want to talk about in a bit. But first, Debro, let's talk about the ones that you like. Let's start here at the top with Jakobi Meyers, 47 receiving yards. You taking the over or the under at that one?
I'm taking the over, and there's actually, you can get the alt line over at DK. You can get plus money on that at 48.5. Teron Johnson in the slot for the Bills has been pretty terrible over the last few weeks. The Bills' pass defense just in general has fallen off. Christian Benford was put on the IR. Tre'Davious White is still not a full-time player. I don't suspect he'll be a full-time player in this game because the Bills are playing the long game. They want Tre'Davious White healthy for the stretch. They want him healthy for the playoffs. This game, even though it is a divisional game, I can't see them running him out there or forcing him into a full-time role. So, yeah, I'll take the over for Jakobi Meyers as far as receiving yards, and I like that you can get plus money with the alt line over at DK.
And the shoulder concern for you, not so much.
Not so much. I mean, look, if we didn't see him come back to last week's game, I'd be more concerned. Again, the Patriots, we know this time and time again, Joe. They love to play games with the injury report. Bill has done this for multiple, I mean, come on, every single season.
Oh,
So,
yeah, it's what they do. Yeah.
yeah, it's what they do. And so with having to go comb through that and deal with Patriots injury reports for multiple seasons and write those games up, I see you, Bill. I know what you're doing. I think Jakobi Meyers plays the full-time role. The matchup is fantastic, so I'll go with the over.
All right, to that point, Mac Jones over 222 and a half passing yards. You get minus 110 over on FanDuel. What are your thoughts on Mac Jones numbers for the passing yards and maybe even for the passing touchdowns too? The 1.5, you get plus 165 over at PointsBet. That's a pretty good number there.
That's a good number. I mean, I like both of those. I like the overs, and if you're building parlays, it just makes a lot of sense. If I'm going to sit here and take the over for Jakobi Meyers, I'm going to pair that with some overs for Mac Jones. Mac Jones has been playing really good football over the last 2 to 3 games. He carved up the Vikings. I think that he can do that against the Bills, and a lot of people are going to say, but it's the Bills. And I'm like, yeah, it's the Bills. Their secondary has not been fantastic. It has not been shut down over the last few weeks. So while I like the Rhamondre Stevenson lines and stuff, like I like his over for rushing.
Well, I like the
his over for
all-purpose. Like
receiving.
I would be looking for the all-purpose
Yes.
numbers you can get
Yes.
on Rhamondre. This is always what we come to, you know. And when you have the running backs that do a little of everything, what you want to do is just loop it all together, take the over on the all-purpose yards, and hope that you get like a big play in either the receiving game or the rush game, and that's how you get over that number. That's what you do. That's the approach. It's very easy. When you start, you know, divvying them out individually is where you give more variance and you give more opportunities for you to be wrong. So instead, push them together, you know, make it one spot and then go with the over on that and hope for a big play.
I'm so surprised that our projections over betting pros have him under the receiving yards. Like, to me, it's kind of crazy. Like, if you look at his receiving yards over the last 5 games, Joe, like
It might be a
59,
game plan,
72, 56,
but it might be a
76.
game
Like,
plan
that's
kind of thing too,
insane.
where they're just trying to, you know, run clock, keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hand. Like I can understand the strategy behind that, but I'm with you. It was surprising to me also, but I think the mindset is maintain possession. Time possession is very important. Keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. The more time he has, the more chance he has to make plays. Let's go to Josh Allen, by the way. 263 and a half passing yards, minus 110 on FanDuel. You like the over or the under here?
I like the over here. Josh Allen has ripped his secondary apart in the 2 previous seasons. You look at it like he's thrown for 300 yards at least the last times that he's faced this secondary. And this is not me calling the Patriots secondary and defense a fraud, but if you look at their schedule and who they've played, Joe, it's a laundry list of nobodies. Like as far as quarterbacks and passing attacks, Tua got them in week 1. He threw for 270. That was with a new playbook, new design, new players, new skill guys. Kirk Cousins exposed them last week. If Kirk Cousins can mitigate pressure and rip your defense apart, then you know that maybe they're not as highly touted. And I'm not saying they're not good, but maybe they aren't quite as good as we've been talking about for the majority of the season, considering the competition that they're facing.
All right, fair enough. One more here to talk about, too, that D-Bros got on his list. Devin Singletary, under 51.5 rushing yards, minus 110. Now, look, the one place we talk about on the podcast, too, some of those defense have been really good against the run. Well, New England's been one of them. So Singletary's a guy that I'm benching in a couple leagues this week because of that. And the under certainly looks like that would be the way to go as well. And that's how you're going also, right?
Yeah, I'm going to take the under for Singletary. We've seen Buffalo time and time again be extremely specific as far as how they attack opposing defenses. This screams to me as a game where they start out and it's just, we're just going to pass it. We're going to pass it. Because, yes, the Patriots defense, like since week 7, Joe, they're 7th in rushing yards allowed per game. They're 4th in explosive run rate allowed. This screams as one of those games where Josh Allen comes out and he does nothing but throw in the first half. Devin Singletary gets like 5 or 6 carries. And the other thing we need to talk about here, Joe, is that you've seen James Cook worked into this backfield. Can we not say, like, if the Bills get up a good bit in the second half, maybe James Cook gets the work to salt away the clock and not Devin Singletary? So
maybe too many variables on the negative side
for Singletary. There's just a lot of variables. It's too many variables to take the over.
Too many variables on the negative side. Pat's run defense good. James Cook starting to emerge a little bit, maybe Devin Singletary being Devin Singletary too, maybe a little bit of that. But I think there's a lot of reasons why I think the under here, I'm with you 100%. Let's get to the anytime touchdown scores. We always like to do this. Rhamondre's at minus 120. That's no surprise.
Yes.
Diggs is at plus 125. Also no surprise. After that, some interesting numbers here. You get plus 220 for Gabe Davis. That's a good one. Plus 200 for Josh Allen. Also a good one. You're doubling up your money there. Hunter Henry at plus 430. Always a guy when Mac Jones is right. Mac Jones is always looking for Hunter Henry in those short yardage goal line situations. He always is. So those are 3 that really stick out to me. It's Allen, it's Davis that get 2-1 or plus even on there. And then Hunter Henry plus 430. Joe. What do you got? What do you want?
I need to know what is the anytime touchdown line for Devontae Parker? That's
Devontae Parker plus 390.
Yes. That's exactly. I was going to say, I bet you it's around plus 400 was the number that was circling around in my head. If we're going to pull one out of the woodwork, yeah, I like that one a lot.
I'm still going with Hunter Henry, the plus 430. I like that one even more. Get more money. And look, that's what he does. He catches touchdowns, Hunter Henry. And Mac Jones hasn't really been right all year. Last week started to look right. And when he does, what do you see? You see him throwing the ball to Hunter Henry in the red zone. It was something you could set your watch to it last year. I would go right back to that. Well, in fact, it might be my favorite big bet of the day where you could put a 10 spot on there and win 40.
Wow.
That works for me. That's a nice way to enjoy the football game, and you're not wagering too much to find out. The other thing that I'm very into this game, I'm a little afraid. Normally, you see a Patriot game, Boggs and I especially would be running out to bet Matthew Judon sack total. But I'm not going to do that tonight because Josh Allen is a bigger lad, harder to bring down, also very mobile in the pocket. So not looking to do that. I'm not saying Judon can't get a sack. I'm just not going there. Instead, I'm looking on the other side. I'm looking for Ed Oliver, who has played out of his mind the last couple games. Really starting to come on, really a presence in the middle for that defense. Ed Oliver, plus 136 to record a sack. I like that number quite a bit. If you want to put that plus 136 into the Rhamondre Stevenson all-purpose yards and then take what a D-Bros that you got there too and kind of lock up a nice little 3-leg simple parlay, I ain't mad at that. I think that's a good way to approach tonight's games. Let's get to some of the other things here as well. Some of the big names on this slate. Let's talk a little Josh Allen here with the rushing yards. 42.5 is the number. 44 is the projection. Looking at Josh Allen, look, massive totals here. 86, 84, then just 7 against the Browns, and then 78. I think this is an over. That's where my lean is. What do you think?
Oh, I love the over. He's eclipsed this in both the last 2 times that they played the Patriots. And you look at Where do we see quarterbacks scramble a whole lot, Joe? It's when teams are going to blitz, they get pressure. We know the Patriots can pressure. The other part about this, Joe, man coverage. We know the Patriots love their man coverage. They're going to run that 30 to 40% tonight, and that's where Josh Allen, he can see here and easily say, okay, going to pull my wide receiver in motion. All right, nobody's following, or they are following. Oh, it's man coverage. All right, I'm going to take off. Let's go.
Okay. Let's go to another one here. We've got on the board, let's see. Sometimes we like to look at the little numbers too, but Mac Jones, 0.5 interceptions. You want to go over on that?
What's the numbers at? Like, we getting plus money or?
You're getting, no, actually it's terror. It's
what's the
minus
under
145.
I'm actually kind of curious of the under.
The under, actually I'd have to pull up here, but you bring up a good point too. You think you could be perfect in this one? You're really riding the Mac Jones wave, aren't you? You're loving the Mac Jones.
I mean, he's playing well. The Buffalo Bills secondary is not playing well.
Fair.
I think Mac Jones comes out here, and I'm not going to say that he's surgical, but I think that he is going to have. So it looks like the under. Oh yeah, baby, let's go with the under. You can get plus money on this in a lot of different books, like plus 110 at DK, plus 110 at BetMGM. I will. I'll bet that Mac Jones stays pristine in this game.
And then Gabe Davis, another guy I want to talk about too. Very boomer bust, which makes him really hard to wager on. But if Bill Belichick historically is anything, he is consistent. If you're going to take something away here, you're going to try to stop Stephon Diggs. Does that mean potentially that Gabe Davis at 51.5 receiving yards is in play? Again, I would not be betting the receptions number on Gabe Davis. I think that's a terrible bet. It's 3.5. You can't go anywhere near stuff like that when it comes to Gabe Davis because it's so hot and cold. But the number on the receiving yards is interesting because he's such a big splash player potentially. So what do you think about Gabe Davis and that number of the 56.5?
Yeah, I like.
Or 51.5. Pardon me. It's even shorter than that. My apologies.
Oh, and you're going with the receiving yards? I'm actually seeing it lower than that. I'm seeing 48.5 on some books.
Yeah,
like
I see the projection here on Fantasy Pro side is 48.1. So you're getting a little variance there. But look, again, this is a little bit more of a risky play. But he's gone over this number in the last 2 of the last 3 games. So
I like it.
It's not impossible.
I like it. I mean, he's got a high A dot. We know his role is as a downfield weapon. So really what you're betting on is not Gabe Davis volume. You're betting on he catches 2 long passes and then he hits the over for this. I mean, really with Gabe Davis, it could just be 1 reception and he hits the over. So you're not looking, it's not a volume bet. So yeah, I like this number a lot.
Just to recap for everybody just joining us too, D-Bro's on the 48.5 on Jakobi Meyers receiving yards at DK in the plus 110. The Mac Jones over 222.5 passing yards and the passing touchdowns 1.5 over at points bet. We both like the Josh Allen over on the rushing yardage. That seems very low. And I'm telling you right now, I am in on Ed Oliver to get a sack tonight. That's what I like. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to Betting Pros. Just click that little bell till it goes ding. So you know every time a fantastic piece of content at Betting Pros is out there for you to watch and listen to. D-Bro will be signing off here for the last Thursday night football for D-Bro, but Scott Bogman luckily is going to be joining us from here on out for the Thursday night. So D-Bro, it's been a wonderful weeks of Thursdays with you, every single week hanging out and talking a little wagering here. So thank you for hanging out and giving us not just your knowledge, but all of your time and your energy as well. I know everybody appreciates it.
Aww.
So thank you so much, D-Bro. So that'll do it for us. Enjoy the Thursday night football game. The story of the game goes on. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy the Bills and Pats.